You know that feeling, right? That moment when someone close says, can we talk?
Mm-hmm.
And the whole atmosphere just shifts instantly.
Yeah, it's charged.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And we usually focus on what is said, the big topic. But what if the actual words, the common phrases people use in those moments, have all these hidden layers,
Mm-hmm.
meanings, cultural stuff
Mm-hmm.
that maybe we just miss?
Absolutely. And that's what's so interesting about the language lesson we're basing this deep dive on. It really zooms in on this dialogue, a boyfriend and girlfriend having a very serious talk.
A tough conversation.
A tough one, yeah. About their feelings, the relationship's future. And it gives us this amazing window into how subtle language choices shape these really personal moments.
So our mission today really is to unpack some of that.
Huh?
Look at these common phrases, even pet names, and see how English speakers signal deep romance or serious worry.
And how culture plays a huge role in all of it.
Right. Think of this as a shortcut, maybe, to understanding those unwritten rules of how we talk about relationships, getting a bit more informed.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's jump right in. From that dialogue, there's this huge line from the boyfriend, I'm in love with you.
Mm-hmm. Pivotal.
Seems simple enough, maybe. But in English is saying, I love you the same as I'm in love with you. Is there a real difference? Let's unpack that.
Oh, there's a massive difference, a really critical one. English is quite precise here.
Okay.
To be in love with someone, that is specifically for strong, romantic feeling.
Romantic only?
Exclusively romantic. It's for your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. That sort of intense, passionate connection.
So you wouldn't say, like, I'm in love with my dad or I'm in love with my dog, even if you adore them.
Exactly right. You would say, I love my dad or I love my dog. To love someone is much broader. It covers family, friends, deep care, absolutely. But without that specific, romantic, passionate element.
So the language itself forces a distinction between romance and other kinds of love.
Precisely. It carves out a specific space for that romantic commitment, which is, well, quite fascinating when you think about how different languages might handle that. Some might use just one word.
That really shows how language can frame our emotions. Okay, speaking of phrases that just change the energy, what about, can we talk?
Ah, yes, the classic.
That one always gives me a little jolt. You mentioned it's charged, and it really is. It's never just about, I don't know, liking someone's shirt, is it?
Definitely not.
Okay.
No, this phrase is, it's basically a warning signal, isn't it?
Yeah, feels like it.
It's used specifically to kick off a serious conversation. It almost always hints at bad news, or at least something heavy, something important that needs real attention right now.
So it sets the stage before you even get to the topic.
Completely. It primes the listener, puts them on alert that something significant is coming, like it did for the couple in our source dialogue. High stakes.
And that serious tone led straight to the girlfriend asking, I want to know where this relationship is going.
A very direct question.
That specific phrase, where is this relationship going, feels very relationship-focused.
Yeah.
But you hear that structure elsewhere, right? Where is this X going?
Oh, totally. That structure, where is this noun going? It's super versatile. You can use it to ask about the future or the direction of almost anything.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Okay, well, think about work. Someone might say, I'm not sure where my career is going at this company. If they feel stuck.
Right, lack of direction.
Or imagine watching a really confusing movie. You might turn to your friend and say, what is happening? Where is this plot going?
Okay, yeah, I definitely felt that.
Or even like a long meeting that isn't getting anywhere. Someone might sigh and say, where is this meeting going? We've been here for hours.
Yes. So it's basically a way to demand clarity.
Yeah.
About the future path.
Exactly. Whether it's your love life, your job, or just a movie plot, it's about needing to understand the destination, the trajectory.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, here's one that seems really simple, but the source points out it's all about how you say it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ah, yes. Tone is everything with this one.
So common, right. But how does the tone change it?
Okay, so if you say it like a question, with your voice going up at the end. You know what I mean? You're genuinely asking for confirmation. Like, do you actually understand what I'm trying to say?
Okay. Checking for understanding.
Right. The source example was good. The professor's instructions weren't clear. So how was I supposed to do the homework? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're looking for that shared understanding. A nod.
Got it. And the other way. When the tone goes down.
If you say it like a statement with a falling tone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's totally different.
How so?
You're implying the listener already understands. They get the hint, the context, the unspoken reasons. You don't need to spell it out.
Ah, Like, it's obvious.
Exactly. The example was, I don't like going to your mom's house. You know what I mean? Period.
Right. Implying there are known reasons, shared history perhaps.
Precisely. No explanation needed because it's assumed knowledge. It's amazing, really, how just that little shift in pitch completely changes the intent. Crucial for communication.
Absolutely fascinating. Okay, let's shift to reflecting on the past or suggesting future steps. The girlfriend says, "We've had our laughs."
Yeah, a nice, concise way to say we've had good times together.
Simple enough?
But the source gives some great variations on that structure, reflecting different kinds of shared history.
Like?
Well, you can say, we've had our ups and downs. That covers the good and the bad times.
The whole spectrum.
Or we've had our issues, which points specifically to problems or difficulties you face together.
Right.
And then there's we've had our moments, which often implies, special times, significant occasions, maybe even poignant ones.
So it's a sexable way to summarize the relationship's journey.
Exactly. And then there's that other phrase, the one that suggests what might need to happen next. Maybe it's just time we.
Yeah, that sounds a bit tentative, suggestive.
It is. It's a very common, often gentle way to propose that something should happen. A necessary next step, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
So in a difficult context, like the dialogue, it might be, maybe it's just time we break up, which is heavy.
Very heavy.
But it can also be positive, like maybe it's time we have a baby, or just practical. It's getting late, maybe it's time we go home.
So it softens the suggestion a bit.
It does. It makes it feel less like a demand and more like a shared realization, perhaps. A useful tool for navigating potentially tricky suggestions.
Yeah, these are really useful phrases for capturing that shared history or nudging things forward gently. Okay, let's wrap up with something a bit lighter, but still really interesting culturally. Pet names.
Yes. And like you said, not fluffy animals.
Haha, right. We mean the affectionate names for partners.
Exactly. Sweet terms. The source lists a bunch of common English ones like baby, which was actually in the dialogue we discussed.
Oh yeah, the boyfriend used that.
And honey, sweetheart, darling. Those are pretty standard.
Then there are the maybe slightly more cheesy ones.
Haha, yes. The source mentions things like sweetie, cutie, snooks,
Snooks,
apparently, and honey bunny, sweetie pie, pooh bear, even dumpling.
Dumpling, okay. Some of those feel very personal, maybe a bit much for public consumption.
Could be. But here's where it gets really fascinating from a cultural perspective.
Okay.
The source points out examples from other languages. In Spanish, apparently, gourd, which literally translates to fat.
Wait, fat?
Yeah, can actually be used as a sweet, affectionate term for a girlfriend, not an insult at all in that context.
Wow, okay. That would not fly in English generally.
Generally not. And in French, ma peau, which means my flea.
My flea.
As a term of endearment.
That's wild.
Isn't it? And what it really drives home is that you just cannot translate these terms literally.
No kidding. My flea doesn't exactly scream romance in English.
Right. It shows how deeply rooted these expressions of affection are in a specific culture's way of thinking and feeling. It's shared emotional shorthand, not literal description.
That's such a great point. Well, this has been quite a journey, hasn't it? From the weight of can we talk to the unexpected sweetness of my flea.
It really covers a lot of ground, showing how even simple, everyday language in relationships is packed with meaning.
And understanding these nuances, these subtleties in English or any language, really, it gives you a kind of shortcut, doesn't it?
It does, to better communication, better understanding. It helps you catch those signals, navigate those interactions with a bit more insight, more sensitivity.
So thinking about how personal and culturally specific something like gourd or my flea is, it makes you wonder what other common English phrases, maybe ones that seem totally innocent, carry unexpected weight in certain relationship contexts, or how translating them literally just completely misses the heart behind them. What are those simple phrases you use, maybe without even thinking, to say a whole lot more than the words themselves? Something to ponder.